Hi, I'm by Austin Ramos, and well, Dolphins lost this Sunday to the Detroit Lions, 32-21.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team.
So this is how the AFC East is currently looking. The New England Patriots are 5-2. The Miami Dolphins are 4-3, and the Jets are 3-4, and the Bills, last but not least, are 2-5. So let's break down how Miami's offense played the game. So this is how their drives went. They punted the ball 3 times in a row, then got a touchdown on one of their last drives of the half, and their last drive ended with the half. Brock Osweiler got sacked right before halftime, and they just decided to go to halftime. Then they followed that up after halftime with two touchdowns, one touchdown first, then a punt, then a touchdown, and then a missed field goal, which could have put Miami in position to at least be down by 8 points and hopefully get an onside kick recovery, but that didn't happen. Brock Osweiler threw for 22 completions out of 31 attempts and had 239 yards. He also had 2 touchdowns, and he got sacked 4 times. Our leading rusher was Kenyon Drake, who had 6 rushes for 72 total yards, and he had the longest run, which was 54 yards, and it ended up in a Miami touchdown. There was also Frank Gore, who had 6 carries. Actually, I'm sorry, he had 10 carries, and he had 29 yards, so it wasn't a really good day for Frank Gore. Miami's leading receivers were Danny Amendola, who had 6 receptions for 84 yards and 1 touchdown. Then Mike Gesicki, who had a decent game. This is one of his best games so far. 3 receptions for 44 yards. Then also we had Kenny Stills, who had 1 reception for 5 yards and a touchdown, which after that touchdown he ran into one of the security guards at Sun Life. I mean, not Sun Life, am I kidding? At Hard Rock Stadium. And the lady got knocked out. Not knocked out, but she got knocked over pretty bad. Kenny Stills was holding his hand after that, so he's listed as injured right now. Don't know if he's playing this Thursday. And then also another injury that was very pivotal in this game was Albert Wilson. He had 3 receptions for 32 yards, and he got injured on one of his long plays, 25-yard reception. He got tackled on the foot, and he had trouble getting up after. He hopefully something just is not feeling right in his foot, and there's no muscle related injury, because in that case Albert Wilson will probably be out for the season. Let's hope not, because he's been one of the best offensive players we have this season, and it's very crucial that we get him back. The offensive line played, I don't want to say mediocre at best, but they played a whatever game. The downside was they allowed 4 sacks, which were negative 28 yards. The first one that drive led to a punt. The second one led to halftime, the one about Brock Osweiler getting sacked before halftime. Following one was a punt, which was the 3rd sack, and then the final sack led to that missed field goal by Jason Sanders. If that sack doesn't happen, it wasn't that bad of a sack, I believe. I think, yeah, it was a 2-yard loss. It wasn't that bad of a sack, but still, I mean, those are negative 2 yards towards your drive that you have to overcome to succeed. So that sets up Miami in bad positions. Now let's talk about the defense. They allowed Detroit's drives to go like this: a touchdown, a punt, which was the only punt of the game, a field goal, a touchdown. That led to halftime. Then following that was another field goal, 1 more touchdown, and then I think 2 more field goals. Matthew Stafford threw the ball 22 times. He had 18 completions, and he had 217 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he got sacked once. Miami needed to get pressure on him. They needed the pass rush. I don't want to say it weren't there, but or whatever. They could have done better, honestly. And our run defense was horrendous, because we allowed Kerryon Johnson to carry the ball 19 times and go for 158 yards. His longest one was I think 71-yarder. Luckily, Rashad Jones saved it before it could have gotten any worse. But also at the same time, Rashad Jones was coming in not on a good angle on that play. He was expecting Kerryon Johnson probably get slowed down, probably, but Miami didn't touch him until Rashad Jones got to him. Now, this is what bothered me the most. Their tight end, Michael Roberts, he had one reception for 15 yards and one touchdown the entire season leading to this game. And then this game, he has 3 receptions and 48 yards, 2 touchdowns. He got a 29-yard long reception. Kenny Golladay was the next to follow with 2 receptions for 37 yards. And Golden Tate had a decent game. Besides yardage, he had 4 receptions for 36 yards. And he also had 1 carry for 30 yards, which was huge. And he also fumbled the ball, which T.J. McDonald could have came in and scooped up, but the way the ball bounced, it just bounced right back to Golden Tate, so he didn't lose possession. Following that, we have our leading tacklers, which was Raekwon McMillan and T.J. McDonald. These are plays that could have changed the momentum of the game and set up Miami's offense in good position with the defense forcing turnovers or just making plays on the ball. And that was the first one I noticed was Kiko Alonso. He had he deflected a pass at the line of scrimmage. He was rushing Matthew Stafford, and unfortunately, no one was in the area to possibly scoop up the ball before it hit the ground. That's unfortunate. Following that, Andre Branch, he had a perfect jump on one of Matthew Stafford, dropped back, and within a second and a half, Andre Branch was right there. He swiped him, and it was a sack fumble, but the ball went out of bounds, and we couldn't recover it, unfortunately. Also, we had Minkah Fitzpatrick, who was a step or two behind from Golden Tate on one of the plays that he was targeted in the red zone. He was about to catch the ball about on the 1-yard line or almost in the end zone, and if Minkah Fitzpatrick is there, the ball pops up, and he has time to at least store back or hopefully grab the ball, put some feet down. It was right there by the out of bounds line, so it was really hard. It was a really tough play, but I believe Bobby McCain was behind him, so it's just awareness and also just try to make a play. This one really killed the Dolphins. Xavier Howard had a pass interference on a 3rd and 7, which was the same drive of Detroit's last touchdown. Not touchdown, field goal. You get that 3rd down stop. It's either a really long field goal for them, or I wasn't sure if they were in field goal range yet, but if you stop them, there's a possibility of more time, first of all, and also 2, they don't get the score. They don't kick a field goal. They don't whatever. But that happened, and that led to a field goal that put them from 29 to 21, and after that they were 32 to 21, which was the final score. That stuff determines the game, and it most likely did. Looking forward to this Thursday, October 25th. The Dolphins will face the Houston Texans in Houston on a Thursday night football game. It's scary because Houston just came off of a great defensive game. They won 20-7, and right now they're sitting at 4-3. They're 2-1 at home. So maybe Miami can make that 2-2. Hopefully. They had 2 fumbles. The first fumble led to a field goal, and the second one led to a touchdown to DeAndre Hopkins. And they also had an interception off of Cody Kessler, so I believe Blake Bortles got injured or something. And they also had 4 sacks, so their pass rush was on point. Defensively, Houston has playmakers. They have, who obviously, J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney, Tyrann Mathieu, Jonathan Joseph. They have decent players on the defensive side of the ball. So I expect that to be one of their strengths when we face them. Houston's quarterback, Deshaun Watson, he threw the ball 24 times, had 12 completions, and 139 yards and 1 touchdown, the one to DeAndre Hopkins. Also, former Miami Dolphin Lamar Miller, he ran the ball, I believe, 22 times, and he had 100 yards and 1 touchdown. So there's not much going there offensively for them. But I believe Houston is very similar to the Dolphins. Their defense is what's keeping them in games. I mean, they had a crazy game against the Cowboys the other day, Sunday Night Football. They're allowing their opponents to average 245 yards passing and 95 yards rushing. So obviously their run stop is one of their strengths. I mean, a lot of teams allow almost 200 yards passing every game. So their secondary is probably average. Linebackers, or combined with their secondary, is average. But their strength is definitely on the defensive line, and that's one of Miami Dolphins' weaknesses, especially now since their backup left guard, Ted Larson, I believe he got hurt. So there's no telling if he's coming back next week. It's a short week. It's tough. It's tough for Miami to pull something out. These are Miami's keys to victory. They gotta run the ball. I mean, pound it. Just feed the ball to Gore and Kenyon Drake. We're down on our receivers. I mean, Parker, we don't know if he's coming back. I mean, his agent was shit-talking Adam Gase today. He didn't play today. Albert Wilson just got hurt. He probably is not going to play this week. Also, Kenny Stills is hurt. But his injury looked a little bit more minor, so he probably can come back. But we're short on receivers right now. We could play with more of our tight ends. I mean, we could put Gesicki in more packages, have another receiver on the field. His blocking isn't that great, but we need guys out there on the field to catch the balls, to help our offense propel, score field goals, touchdowns, all that. Also, we need a clean pocket for Brock Osweiler. He got sacked 4 times this game. Last game, he didn't get touched. The Chicago game, he did not get touched at all. He got touched twice. This game, he felt pressure, and it showed. Last but not least, the defense needs to force turnovers. That is the key to victory for every game for the Dolphins. I mean, if you look at the Miami Hurricanes, they feed off their turnovers. When they get a turnover, they get that chain on. You know, they are hyped, and I feel like the Dolphins are very similar like that. They get a turnover, and things start going Miami's way. 4 of the 6 games that they got turnovers, I mean, they were winning. So get turnovers. That's about it. If you like the video, like it down below. Also, comment, subscribe, and also follow me on my media outlets. I'll put them in the description below. And I will have an article. It's very similar to what I just relayed in this video, but if you'd like to read, I'll have that for you down below. And also, thank you for watching.